Nepo babies are truly everywhere these days.
I've had a run of like these great second-generation actors. Like
That's a nice way of
Quaid.
putting it.
People have called me a Nepo baby.
Nepotism.
Nepo baby.
Nepo baby.
Nepo baby.
The Nepo thing.
They called me a Nepo baby. No, that's dog shit behavior.
And I find them fascinating. When I was younger, I used to play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. And my favorite feature on IMDb was the little boxes that you enter 2 actors' names to see what movies they were in together. What happened to that feature, IMDb? My point is, I love seeing connections between things, and so when I find out somebody is a Nepo baby, I'm fascinated. What do you mean Zoe Deutsch is Leah Thompson's daughter? I say all this because I want you to know this video isn't going to be mean-spirited.
That's so amazing.
For the most part. I'm more interested in what it means to be a Nepo baby and what the existence of those Nepos says about talent, skill, and merit. The idea for this video originally came when I saw a Miss Mojo short break down the Nepo babies on the cast of The Pit. Oh cool, Brad Dourif even played his daughter's father on the show. That was confusing. That's interesting. I was surprised to see the comments seem to take the term less neutral as, look, these people have parents that you might know, like Bryan Cranston.
Taylor actually made her first on-camera appearance during Bryan's iconic show Breaking Bad in 2010.
But more as an insult to the actors on The Pit. Nepo babies seem to imply these actors never deserved to even be there, and I'll admit that the term Nepo baby and its 2010s variation Nepotism baby is unnecessarily condescending. But, in my opinion, the meaning behind it isn't always meant negatively. There are also people on the other side of the Nepo baby debate taking the term negatively, not as a defense of the actors, but as an example of everything wrong with the world. And as Nate Jones wrote in his article on the year of the Nepo baby in 2022, Nepotism babies did not choose this fate, but they should never fly too close to the sun. Referencing Icarus is very funny and probably intentional because in the story, Icarus didn't even make his own wings. His father did. Why does nepotism bother people so much? Well, because it shatters the illusion that society is based on merit. Western society, and especially American society, is built on the idea that hard work, talent, and skill equal merit and will inevitably lead to a reward. Hard work pays off. Except this implies everyone has an equal and same start in life, and the same privilege throughout life, which doesn't exist in the real world due to race and gender inequality, something that focusing on merit actively hides.
We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
A society cannot be a meritocracy if the opportunities aren't equal. And Nepo babies, they're drowning in opportunities. That doesn't mean they're individually wrong for using those opportunities and they're privileged, by the way. Like I 100% understand M. Night Shyamalan making a thinly veiled concert movie to promote his daughter's music.
Your husband is the butcher!
I wouldn't say no to that opportunity either. If anything, Nepo babies should be celebrated for their part in exposing the illusion of meritocracy. I mean, have you ever tried actually pulling yourself up by your bootstraps? It's physically impossible. Nepotism goes way, way back, even further than the concept of merit. We've got classics like monarchies, still going strong in some European countries. But as much as I love King's Day and I wouldn't trade places with any of them, these people getting money simply for existing is crazy work. Though I have to admit this thing Queen Maxima did was pretty funny. Totally worth the money. But nepotism truly, like all things, comes from the Catholic Church. It wasn't uncommon for popes to give privileges or cardinal positions to the men in their family. The term nepotism actually comes from the Latin word nepos, meaning nephew or grandson. Now, what's the definition of nepotism in the modern age? Well, there are several, but here are some. Cambridge defines it as the act of using power or influence to get good jobs or unfair advantages for your own family. A lot of qualifiers in that one, especially the word unfair might need some more defining. Merriam-Webster describes it instead as favoritism based on kinship, which is way more broad and says that nepotism isn't necessarily something you do, but a privilege that you have based on your family relationship. Some actors, like Nicolas Cage, changed their name to avoid the implication of this type of nepotism. Also, random tangent, but celebrities changing their name almost always makes me think of Michael Keaton, who originally was named Michael Douglas, but he had to change it because, you know, there already was a Michael Douglas, who is also an OG Nepo baby. Circle round, we're back on track. Okay, now that we have some definitions, what if the job your parent or family member helps you get is something that requires skill, hard work, and maybe even, dare I say, talent? Is calling somebody a Nepo baby saying they don't work hard or don't deserve their career?
Yeah, but I don't think it's nepotism. I mean, if I messed up on the first day, I'd be fired, just like everyone else. Or if I was terrible, I'll be terrible.
There are two ways we can think about this. On the one hand, all a Nepo baby is getting is a foot in the door. After that, they have to prove that they have the skill, the talent, the ability, and the willingness to work hard. Did Jamie Lee Curtis have a massive advantage getting the part in Halloween because her mom was literally the most famous horror victim in all of film history? It probably didn't hurt, if only because it's way easier for the producers to market the movie. In his article, Nate Jones mentions academic Eva Maria Schorgenhuber, saying that children of celebrities are living links to pop culture history. Having the daughter of the original Scream Queen play in your horror movie is film gold. Absolute cinema. But Jamie Lee Curtis then actually had to deliver, and now nobody remembers her as just the OG Nepo baby. Once you've established yourself and have proven you have skills and talent, no one will call you a Nepo baby in the condescending way. It's more of a fun fact. Like how I discovered Sigourney Weaver's father owned NBC while I was researching the Copycat video months ago. I'm sure that might have helped her career in some way, but if she wasn't a stone-cold badass in Alien, I doubt anyone would have cared, despite her influential father. I mean, does anybody know what Chet Hanks is up to these days? This view on Nepo babies fits sports even better, because sure, you can get your foot in the door, but you still have to deliver a result. You have to be an actual asset to your team. You need to be able to win. In entertainment, the goal is also to make money, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to be good at your job or, you know, Oscar-worthy. Gal Gadot is still out there doing these kind of things, so...
Kalel, no! I need you to give me the stone!
And enough champagne to fill the Nile. Kalel, no! In sports, that type of performance would be unacceptable. Max Verstappen, for instance, has omega eclipsed his father's Formula 1 career. And even if he got his start in sport because of his dad, who seemingly put him in a cart straight out of the womb, he still had to work very hard and continues to work hard to get to the absolute top of his game. The question I've always asked is, if your parents are good at something, let's say they're both great actors, does that mean you're also a good actor because you're naturally more talented, or because you're born into the right environment and have all the tools and time to work on your craft? Did Jos Verstappen put his son in a cart at a young age because he showed signs of talent, or did he allegedly abuse him into working harder than everyone else from a very young age? Sure, you need skill, talent, and hard work after getting your foot in the door, but the other side of the Nepo baby argument is that the hardest part of a career in the industry is getting your foot in the door. Without connections, getting discovered requires an element of luck and the willingness of producers to take a gamble on an unknown name. Now, let's circle back to the start of the video. This is Pirate Software, aka Thor, aka Jason Thor Hall, and he worked at Blizzard for 7 years. I don't know how the word got out about that because he literally never talks about it.
Literally never talk about it. When I worked at Blizzard, I did that for Blizzard. Blizzard, 7 years, yeah. Blizzard. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment.
But yeah, this man is a self-confessed Nepo baby. Except don't call him that.
They called me a Nepo baby. That's dog shit behavior.
For those of you with better things to do than follow internet drama of 6 months ago, Pirate got his first job at Blizzard at 14 because his dad already worked at Blizzard. Well, he didn't just work at Blizzard, he was actually one of the first people at Blizzard before it was even called Blizzard. He was also the cinematics director, and oh yeah, this South Park character was based on him, according to Pirate Software. I mean, I think Pirate never talks about it.
My dad is the WoW guy from South Park. He was the cinematic director for Blizzard for 23 years.
I bring this guy up because I think it's a compelling example from a different industry. Being a no Nepo baby comes with the increased negative attention, at least recently. People are quick to judge Nepo babies that might lack the skill or talent and random needs to get that far, and some Nepo babies are equally defensive about their Nepo baby status. Hopper Penn, son of Sean Penn and Robin Wright, talked in a joint interview with his mom about rejecting the label, because he isn't one. Which is pretty funny coming from somebody who called people calling him a Nepo baby jealous because they aren't in movies. And he also said this while on the set of a short film directed by Steven Spielberg's daughter and written by Stephen King's son. In the same interview, Robin Wright talks about being pregnant with him and talking to Sean Penn about how hard it will be for their child having to live in the shadow of his Oscar-winning parents. Okay. Oh, and the most relatable part of that whole interview has to be when Hopper asked his mom to play his mother in his movie. And she was like, sure, let me call my friend Billy Bob Thornton to also be in this movie. Relatable, normal people stuff. Connections go a long way in any industry. So does early exposure to the ins and outs of the world and time to dedicate to your craft. Getting your foot in the door is the hard part that otherwise requires luck for regular people, and then the hard work to become a household name begins. In a world where merit is only an illusion keeping inequality alive instead of giving everyone equal opportunities, can you really blame the Nepo babies for taking a shortcut? So why do celebrities hate being called a Nepo baby so much? Because it implies they didn't work hard, don't have actual skill, or aren't talented, and everyone knows it? And instead of acknowledging their privilege in getting their foot in the door without needing to rely on luck, they get defensive because someone said they might not belong there. Well, I'll leave you with a quote from model Anok Yai that sums it up pretty good. I know you work hard and have your struggles like the rest of us, but goddamn if you only knew the hell we go through to stand in the same room that you were born in. Thanks for watching.